Now, of the 567 candidates running in this year's general election campaign, 202 are independents. This is twice as much as that ran in 2007.
Not only this, but we're certain to remain one of the worst performers in the world when it comes to electing women to represent us, because only 85 are standing.
Joining us now are Madeleine McAleer, who is running in County Clare. We have Kate Bopp, who is running in Tipperary North. Mary Fitzgibbon, who is standing in Kerry North. West Limerick, and Councillor Catherine Murphy, who is standing in Kildare North. You're all very welcome.
Thanks for taking time out. I mean, we are in the final days of the campaign. Madeleine, has it been exhausting?
Yes, it has. It's a very short campaign for me because I just received my nomination right at the last minute. So in a way, I suppose that's good, because at least it means it's a short
and intense. What about you, Kate? Is it the same story for you, or do you?
Very similar story for me. I decided to run. I made my announcement just over 2 weeks ago that I would run, for many reasons. Kind of mainly because I just wouldn't have the budget for a long campaign. I have 5 children and I'm studying law, so you know. It's like Madeleine said, short, intense, but you can give it your absolute all for that period.
What about yourself?
Yes, it's. There's a certain amount of pain attached to it, but it's been exciting. It's been an education.
What tells about the pain?
Well, it's just the juggling of 4 children, chickenpox last night and being up all night, and just the flexibility that it requires, and the support from my colleagues. One of them is covering some of my classes today, because we don't have that, I don't know if you can call it a luxury, but working full-time on a campaign, we're also holding down our jobs so that I'd be the main earner, so that even though there's less at the end of the month, that it's still there.
And Catherine, of course, you've done it all before.
Yeah, many times.
But you had previously the support of a party behind you. Is it very different as an independent?
Yeah, well, I contested the 2005 by-election as an independent, so I mean, I've had that experience, and of course the general election in 2007, you know, I was an independent as well. So I had planned for some time the campaign with a great team that I have around me, but I did do a little bit of walking to try and get myself kind of a little bit fit. But this has been a good opportunity as well to get fit and you know, lose a little bit of weight as well, which you always do during these campaigns.
I might go running myself the next time if that's the case. But Madeleine, I suppose what a lot of people would be asking, why not join one of the bigger parties? Why go alone on this?
I find party politics is actually part of the problem, and it's part of the problem of why we are where we are, because, I mean, I would totally agree with what Jesse Jackson said last week. He said, you know, change is going to happen. People just are absolutely devastated by what has happened to them. And he said change is going to happen, but it's going to come from outside of politics. And I think that, you know, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. And I think that's what's happening in politics. So I think new voices and new ways of looking at things, whether that's male or female or from different class structures, I think that the Dáil is not representative of the population.
And Kate, what did you feel about that? I mean, did you examine all of the parties, or did you?
Yes. I don't want to sound like a parrot beside Madeleine, but she said everything that I wanted to say. But also, I looked around in my constituency and I looked for a candidate that would represent the things that I wanted to see happening. And I became tired of shouting at the television and shouting at the radio. And I thought, shut up or put up, get out there, make a stand for the ordinary people, because I wanted to address the disconnect between career politicians and the public, and I wanted to readdress the issue and redefine the word public servant. You know, we as taxpayers are paying the public servants to take care of us and the hierarchy in such a case, and I felt there was nobody in the candidates in my constituency, and there are very few, and certainly not in any of the parties.
Mary, why not go with one of these bigger political parties, so who have money and who could put money behind you, and you could have a big long campaign and get loads of people out canvassing for you? Doesn't that sound a lot easier than going alone?
Then I would be serving the party's ends. I mean, I'm not under any political party whip. It's not about leadership contests. It's about the responsible use of power, living for the public, not of the public. And they have made us irrelevant. They have forgotten. I think, whatever you think about Shane Ross, but I thought he put it so eloquently. They were passengers in the last number of governments, not drivers. And we have become cynical too, and we're not naive, we're disillusioned. But independent. I saw a great caption, "The party's over," by one of the Dublin independents.
And Catherine, what about the power that independents will wield in the wake of this election? Because it's going to be very interesting. We're going to have a strong, according to the polls, independent representation. So whether they're in opposition or in government, they will have some say, won't they?
Absolutely. And if we're going to go back to like the same type of politics after this election campaign, this campaign will have been a failure. We have got to see a less combative approach to politics and a much more cooperative approach. We have got to have a stream of new ideas coming through. And for example, a technical group, which I was part of between 2005 and 2007, and confers the same rights as a political party in terms of the speaking rights in the Dáil and membership of committees and that. I feel that there could be a very good interface between civil society groups and the independents within that group to bring forward new ideas. And I don't care where those new ideas come from, so long as we find a way to get them debated and get them included in policy into the future. And I think that we could provide a unique opportunity to do that.
Madeleine, this general election, do you think it's going to be about local issues or national issues?
I think people are very concerned about local issues because they directly impact on them, but most people now see the bigger picture. That
Michael Healy-Rae, another independent, he was on about it the last, that it was more about national issues than
well,
local
he'll
issues.
say that, but he'll still go and deal with the local issues to get the votes, whereas we're talking about people who are national representatives to be respected nationally and internationally. You know, I definitely feel that the system encourages both things to happen, and if they happen, then the TD's time is not spent for the betterment of the country. So I mean, those are all the sort of things, that radical political reform where you look at the job. I mean, what other job would you go for where you don't have a job description, a mission statement, a list of tasks that you do, an annual review, or even a monthly assessment by your employer, and the employer is the people. And maybe even a 6-month probation period if you're not doing the job that you're supposed to be, and the things that you shouldn't do.
Okay.
You know.
Kate, if you had your time again, I know that you've only had a short campaign, but given what you've learned over the last couple of weeks, would you do it all again?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I certainly would.
And how has this changed you? I mean, we hope you do get elected, but what happens to your life now if you don't?
It's a very steep learning curve, and I've learned more in the past 2 weeks, possibly, than I've learned in the past 3 years in my evening law school. I've learned some very valuable things. Also, I've learned that we must never forget to connect with the people around us and listen. And if I become prominent in politics, or if I become involved in even local politics, I hope that I never forget that the people who go to the town hall meetings and the people who stand up and get angry are justified in their anger, and they need to be listened to. And they certainly should never receive a response like, "I won't dignify that question with a response." That should never be heard, ever.
And Mary, of course, you were running in the old Kerry North constituency, but you're after inheriting West Limerick as well. How was that?
Yes, they redrew the boundary maps, and I was up actually in Mount Collins yesterday, and you know, we could be a little light-hearted here, not saying that we are, but it is actually catastrophic what's happening out there, and you really sense the pain, the betrayal, the frustration. I mean, we're all feeling it, but on the ground when you see that. But no, it's again a learning curve, an education, not easy to put yourself out there. It's not an easy thing, and one thing I would ask people is please vote on Friday. Please use your vote. If the vote was taken from us tomorrow, then we would appreciate the power of the vote.
Okay, well, thank you all very much indeed for coming in. Catherine, we're going to leave it there, but we wish you well, and I know that you've all taken time out of very hectic campaigns to come in and see us, so we appreciate that. Definitely. And I think that advice to get out the vote is
get out there, yeah, and use your vote.
Thank you.
Mighty stuff, and thanks for coming in again today.
Thank you.
Mighty
Thank
stuff.
you.
Now,
it's lovely to be here.
with his